It is filled to the brim with African pride, spirituality, identity and youthful exuberance. This is Zimbabwean-born artist Anotidaishe Makunike, known as FakeAno's description of his 2021 EP titled African Boy, which features producer and artist Jillz from Malawi, JiggyWorldWide from Angola, Sphum and Xavier Steeze from South Africa and producer Evoke. Fikano joins us now via Zoom to tell us more about his latest projects. A very good morning to you, Fikano. Thanks for joining us. Welcome.
Good morning. Good morning. Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure, man. Good to have you join us this morning. Now, first of all, take us through how your music made its way into your life, and to take us through your musical journey in its entirety. Where did it all start for you?
For me, it started, I guess I'm a church boy, so it started in the church. Because I did grow up in the church, and I'm originally from Zim, so I moved to South Africa in about 2001. And when I made that move, I just started learning about new sounds and new cultures, and everything was just new for me. And in that's when I started learning the whole music thing. And it's been a nice journey. It's been a great journey. I've only taken the artistry seriously for the last 2 years. Before that, I've always been part of groups playing instruments, whether it's piano or, drums, and different things in different bands.
What stands out as a highlight of this musical journey? What has made it so rewarding?
Well, now it's kind of weird to say this because we're in the middle of a pandemic, so there's no festivals and stages that are open. When we were open, that was one of the best things. I managed to perform at Opi Kopi. I've done some big festival stages, and during that time, I was just like, this is exactly what it is that I want to do and I want to pursue.
Now, to someone who may not know, how would you describe your music, and what sound have you settled on?
I guess we can call it Afro beats, Afro pop. We can sit on that. That's the sound that I've gone in with this last African Boy project. It's a very dancey and vibey with a bit of that African rhythm with a lot of percussion and drums. So I'll go with Afro beats and Afro pop.
Now, speak to us about your 2021 EP titled African Boy. What is the inspiration behind it? And do you want to take us through what putting it together entailed?
Sure. So the main inspiration behind it was, me being surrounded by so many different African musicians, like you just mentioned in the intro, the different people I worked with on this project. It made me kind of realize the amount of African influence we have in the music that we make. And it seems like right now, with the times that we're going through, it's no longer such a popular thing. Everyone wants to be very hip hop and very Western and very, kind of like that, even in the sounds that they make. But then with the guys that we worked with, we started this journey on African Boy early last year, about July. And the project was only 5 songs. But in that, it was different encounters that we had with major artists throughout South Africa. Some of it was made in Limpopo when we had gone on a writing camp with Shoma Josie, So we had managed to make some of those songs there. And through all of that, the different guys that gave their hands, like JiggyWorldWide being from Angola, putting some Portuguese on it. That journey was different and kind of something new that I've never done. But I knew that using all these different collaborations and putting it into one thing, we should come out with a really good product. And we released 19th of March early this year. And since we've released, the reception has been really, really good. And, it kind of shows me that we were onto something that was really, really, worthwhile.
Indeed. And why is African Boy worth a listen?
African Boy is worth a listen because, in summary, it's literally just a love story. It's a good African love story. I start talking about my personal life when we come into the project, asking people to pray for me because I'm a young man who doesn't really understand what he's going through. And right after that, I start telling this love story about this South African woman that I met when I was in South Africa, and, the relationship we've had even during the pandemic, just trying to figure things out and trying to work on these thing. And it's lovely because you don't get to hear that kind of side from African musicians in terms of a love story that unifies different people. So that's why it's really a worthwhile listen.
And you are quoted as having said, and I quote, "I made African boy in a moment of feeling true to myself, my roots and what I believe it means to be African without, the stereotypes, especially when it comes to music." Tell us more about this moment, what that entailed.
That moment really was about me realizing where I come from and where it is that I am now. So coming from Zimbabwe and then living in South Africa for so long, you kind of end up in a weird identity crisis. When you're around Zimbabweans, you're calling yourself Zimbabwean. When you're around South Africans, you're calling yourself Zimbabwean, but they're kind of calling you South African because you've lived pretty much your whole entire life here. So when I decided to become true to my roots, it was using that influence, that where I'm from and where I'm at now, and putting those things and creating one product, as versus of like saying that I want to be a rapper, so I'm going to make this kind of sound, or I just want to make a piano, but I didn't really spend that much time in like townships and Pretoria and stuff like that to kind of get the authentic version of the sound. But through where I've been, I can create an authentic version of the sound, and that's what African Boy is.
And do you get a sense that this project will address all issues around, as we've just mentioned, identity crisis? Because there's still so much talk, and an unanswered question with regards to identity crisis, because we know that it doesn't matter whether you come from Egypt or Angola or Zimbabwe, we are all Africans, isn't it?
Yes, 100%. Yeah, I think this message kind of addresses that. I mean, on African Day, I released a video, Survive, and in it, I kind of have an opening poem where I'm expressing this thing of like, we're all actually just Africans. So within Africa, this confusion that we have shouldn't be here, it shouldn't be there. Everyone should be feeling welcome enough to just be themselves truly, no matter which part of the land they're at.
And who did you work with on this project? And why is it so important that we celebrate who we are as Africans?
So I worked with a great producer named Jillz. Jillz did Casper Nyovest Move for me. So he's a good upcoming producer. He's born in Malawi, based here in Johannesburg. So that was great. I also worked with Evoke, also known as Robert Mangwedzi. He's on Beyonce's Find Your Way Back. So he has co-production credits on Beyonce's Find Your Way Back. And he pretty much made every other song on the project. So there's quite some heavy power in terms of the production and the creation of it. In terms of other artists, there's Sphum. Sphum's a really, really good Johannesburg-based artist, and her vocals are amazing. So is Xavier Steeze and JiggyWorldWide. And I think it's really important for us to celebrate our artistry as Africans, mainly because it's really one of the most important things we have, and it's one of the I feel like as artists, we have a responsibility of telling our story and being the owners of the narrative. So the moment we as artists are not celebrating Africa or being African, you kind of see that gap within the people, that people are not being patriotic, people are not being in unity, because us as the artists who guide that narrative aren't being useful. So it's very important that we're consistent and that we keep celebrating Africa Day and we keep celebrating being African throughout the year, because then that's how the people also carry on, and it's a good thing.
Okay. Now, just a final question, Fikano. For purposes of indulging in your music, how do your fans connect with you?
Okay, so my music is available on all digital platforms. If you are on iTunes, Apple Music, Spotify, YouTube, it's all there. We've just released 2 music videos. One is called Moyo. It's on YouTube. And the other one is called Survive. It's also a short film that's available on YouTube. If you're trying to contact me directly, you can contact me on all my social media pages, which is FakeAno, the word fake, A-N-O, on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, every single thing.
All right, FakeAno, great chatting to you, man, and keep on pushing your craft. We really love your work. And why FakeAno, though?
Mainly because when I tried to sign up on Twitter in 2009, everyone was calling themselves the real something. So I tried the real Ano, and that wasn't available. So now we got stuck with FakeAno. So I said, okay, it is what it is.
Okay, got you. All right, all the best, man. Thanks for chatting to us.
Thank you so much.
Anotidaishe Makunike, known as FakeAno, is a Zimbabwean-born artist speaking to us about his 2021 EP titled African Boy. Now, the project spans across 5 diverse songs written in FakeAno's native language of Shona.